signal that it is time to sleep now. I had inexpensive ones for a long time, but finally splurged on a black silk one, and I love it. Story 72. A melatonin chewable works wonders. However, being pregnant, I can't take that. I was advised to take Unisom, but I always feel really groggy when I wake up after taking it. So I usually just do a lot of breathing and counting, but I'm reading comments to see if there's anything else I can try. Story 73. White noise through noise-canceling headphones helps me sleep. I don't know what it is, but I can't sleep without it now. Story 74. Jet lag. I just took a 14-hour flight and watched 5 movies until I couldn't keep my eyes open. I managed about 5 hours of sleep before the flight was over and I was awake enough to reach my final destination. After unpacking and settling in, exhaustion crept back in. By then, it was 9 to 10 p.m. local time. I hit the pillow and fell asleep right away. I woke up at 6 a.m., dozed back to sleep, and got up at 8 a.m., still functioning as if I were adjusted. Story 75. Bedtime hygiene makes a significant difference, especially when I transformed my bed into a comfortable space with my favorite colors. I established a rule to use it solely for rest. In addition, a quality mattress is one of the best investments I have ever made. Story 76. I find the military sleep method works for me. Story 77. Listing things in alphabetical order can include names, fruits, or anything else. My favorite is listing the states of the United States. The randomness makes it a perfect list to distract your mind from other thoughts. Story 78. I tire myself out to the point that I am just tired enough to want to rest. Overexerting myself will prompt my body to rest, but my mind still works too hard. That's why I can't sleep. Story 79. An audiobook, factual rather than fictional, that is somewhat interesting but not captivating. The History of Lighthouses, with information on 100 historic locations, read by someone with a measured pace and a pleasant voice. Story 80. Many people prefer complete darkness with their eyes closed, but I find that a warm night light helps me focus on my visual environment, which prevents eye fatigue. It also seems to calm racing thoughts. Story 81. I doom scroll for an hour until my phone hits my face. Then, I put it down and turn on to my right side, sleeping with a fan blowing on my face. Story 82. Warm light an hour before sleeping helps me start calming down. I read, but I choose something not too exciting to avoid the opposite effect. What really works if I cannot fall asleep is using the sensory techniques visual, auditory, kinesthetic, olfactory, gustatory until I fall asleep or doing a mindfulness body scan. It works every time. Story 83. Power nap before actually sleeping tricks my brain into thinking I've been sleeping for a long time. Story 84. Taco method. You can use any word, but essentially, list all the words you can think of in your head starting with T, then A, then C, and finally O. Listing random words breaks up linear thought patterns. I occasionally suffer from insomnia, and this method helps me fall asleep before reaching O. Story 85. Spin until I get dizzy like some dogs do, then jump on the bed. I haven't tried many other things since most of the time I lose consciousness as soon as my head hits the pillow. Story 86. Stop caring about things and silence your mind. Practice slow breathing and maintain good neck and back support. It works effectively. Story 87. Stretching all parts of your body in bed and listening to guided meditations until you feel sleepy is a calming practice. Then turn off the meditation and allow your peaceful mind to drift off to sleep. I also enjoy ocean sounds on some nights, though I think some people can fall asleep while listening to them. Story 88. Make your body behave as if it is already sleeping with light snoring and heavy breathing, and the brain might follow. It may seem odd, but it helps. Also consider chamomile tea, blackout curtains, a cold room, and a fan. Story 89. I often experience insomnia. One effective method I use is thinking of a subject, such as flowers. I then come up with a flower name for every letter of the alphabet. I have only reached Z once before falling asleep. Story 90, brain scattering. I don't know what the real term is called. Basically, you pick a word, preferably one you know how to spell, and then list random things that start with each letter of the word. Then try to visualize it for a moment. For example, rice, raccoons, ice cream, carrot, earth. When you're done, choose a new word and try not to use the same words repeatedly. Apparently, it's a way to simulate dreaming and tricks the brain into shutting down. I'm not sure how true that is, but the technique does seem to work. Story 91. I have tried many different things, But the one thing that truly helps me is focusing on thinking about nothing but the shapes and images behind my eyelids. Story 92. Opening the windows, especially when you are living in a mountainous region, allowed the cold, fresh air to help me sleep well. Story 93. Make a playlist of songs you like that can also help you fall asleep. Listen to it every night in the same order when you go to bed. At first, it may take 7 or 8 songs before you fall asleep, but after a while, you'll find that you fall asleep by the second or third song. Story 94. I usually fall asleep very quickly, but then wake up, and my mind starts racing, making it difficult to fall back asleep. About a year ago, I took ibuprofen for some pain I was experiencing and realized I slept through the entire night. I experimented with the dosage and found that 600 milligrams allows me to sleep all night, or if I wake up, I can easily return to sleep. I weigh 185 pounds. I spoke to several doctors about this, and they mentioned that it masks the stimuli that typically wake you up. I'm unsure how it allows me to fall back asleep, though. I engage in a lot of exercise and am usually tired at night, which helps as well. When I drink any alcohol, however, I still have poor sleep quality. Story 95. I am always surprised that nobody ever talks about this. Just pick up a boring book and read. I have always had sleep problems growing up, and this has always worked for me. Having a pen and paper on your nightstand to jot down your thoughts has worked wonders as well. Story 96. The trick is to distract your mind from invasive thoughts. Some have mentioned breathing exercises. However, they do not work for me because I can do that and still find my mind wandering in many directions. What I do is start thinking of an imaginary scene that completely occupies my thoughts.